Are you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest gas?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Vliet.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, DirtFish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride. Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood. Like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off another episode, and we are slam-packed today, Hood. Tons of guests, tons of fun, and you and I, we got a lot to talk about today. I don't know what your weekend looked like, but mine was pretty busy.
Yeah, mine was, relaxing here. I had another weekend off before my last weekend. Heading out to Moline, Illinois for my last round of Monster Jam for my season. But I did happen to watch Supercross. We got a lot of controversy to talk about, and I can't wait.
Oh, my goodness. And we got Mr. Controversy himself on air with us next week, Mr. Ryan Dungey. I'm very excited to mention that. But we definitely got a lot to talk about in our Supercross segment here. Also, we've got a stacked guest lineup. We got Frederick Aasbo, your weekend winner in Formula Drift. We've got Connor Martell, your weekend winner in Global RallyCross Lights. And then we've got a teaser that I did with Antron Brown for Project Action. It's like a 45-minute interview, but Antron Brown, pro stock bike racer turned top fuel dragster. He's raced the fastest motorcycles on the planet, the fastest drag race cars on the planet, and I've got him on Project Action. And then we got my buddy Cameron Steele, X Games fame trophy truck guy. He went and won the NORA 1000 this past weekend. So stack lineup, all that and more coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP 1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? DirtFish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at DirtFish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off another episode. And, man, it's going to be a fun one today, but I've been having a lot of fun over on my spin-off project, Project Action, over on Podcast One. Make sure and check it out. Go over there to iTunes. You can subscribe, rate, and review. And if you leave those reviews, I will follow you back on Instagram or Twitter. All you have to do is leave your Twitter, Instagram, at username in the review on iTunes, and I'll check it out, follow you back. Had a fellow Canadian, actually the past 2 weeks, actually, I think if I count in yours, out of 3 of the last 4 weeks, I've had Canadians on Project Action. I don't know. It's like a Canadian takeover over there. But we had you, and then we've had Sebastian Bach, frontman for Skid Row. And then we've also had my good friend Naomi Kyle, the face of IGN.com, and probably one of the most famous video gamers in the world. It's safe to say that, I would say. But anyways, I don't know. It's a Canadian takeover on Project Action. I don't know what the heck to do.
Well, it's because Canadians are awesome and you love us.
Yeah. Speaking of Canadians being awesome, I have to say, seriously, tip of the cap to your entire country. It choked me up, and I go, you know what? I'm a bad American. I need to learn the Canadian national anthem because I don't know if you saw what happened up in Edmonton over the weekend, but they got NHL going on up there, right? And so, they have to do both the Canadian national anthem and the American national anthem. So the guy's down there on the ice, he's actually an American. He's going to sing the American national anthem. The microphone dies, right? And so before he starts, so he just threw the mic out, and he stood there, and everybody, and it's all Canadians up there. No American's going to fly to Edmonton to watch hockey. And so the entire arena stood up, all these Canadians, and sang the U.S. national anthem, sang the Star Spangled Banner. And I go, you know what? It choked me up that the Canadians would actually do that. And you had NHL players tearing up on the ice, the American NHL players. And I'm going, you know what? I'm a bad American because I can only say bits and pieces of your guys' national anthem. And I'm like, that's pretty bad. I need to learn that. So just saying, tip of the cap to your entire country. Classy people up there, Hood.
That's so cool. I got to look that up. I got to research that. But, yeah, I hear the American anthem every weekend. So I can, rip it off the top of my head like nobody's business. But, yeah, we know a little bit of everything, and obviously we know the American national anthem very well if you are a hockey player and a hockey watcher and Supercross watcher and whatever. When you come to Canada, we usually play both. So, boo on you.
Yeah, seriously, I felt bad. I'm like, man, I know parts of O Canada, but not a lot. And I'm like, I need to learn that. I feel like it's on I need to do it. But it's actually viral on Facebook. Literally, like the video I saw, I can't even remember who originally posted it, but it had something like 100,000 shares or something. So it's all over Facebook. I'm sure it's on YouTube at this point.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I think it was through the NHL's Facebook feed. But anyways, good stuff. I know it's not motorsports, but I thought I would tell you, tip of the cap to you Canadians, because you choked me up over the weekend.
Oh, that's super cute, though. That's a really cool story.
Yeah, it is an awesome story. And speaking of awesome stories, our friend Travis Pastrana is going back to NASCAR, at least for one-off in September. He's back in NASCAR trucks. It's been a couple years since he's done that, so I'm pretty pumped for TP. He and I have actually been texting a lot recently, just on some on razors and just some odds and ends and things like that. But I'm super pumped for him. Like, I feel like because I know he funded that out of his pocket. Like, there were no sponsors. He had a few sponsors helping him a little bit, but NASCAR's so expensive. We're talking like tens of millions of dollars. Like, I think Travis dipped into his pocket to race because he knew he could do it and nobody else thought he could. And he proved a point, but there got to be a point where Trav just ran out of money. And you can't just keep funding your own racing program, right? So, but I
don't think Travis would run out of money, but I think, there might be some very strong female figure in his life that would slap his hand and say, okay, we can spend this money on something else. Because, yes, NASCAR is expensive. And, yeah, he's going into the right way now because, by the looks of it, he has a pretty sick ride.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, and, yeah, I mean, Trav probably could have kept self-funding it for a while. But I feel like there's something, like, I think he felt like there's something left in the tank. So anytime he gets a chance to go back, I think he jumps at it because – like, he was actually pretty good at it. People don't give him his due. I think he took some top 10s.
You know what?
I
don't think it had something to do with he had more left in the tank, to be honest. I think he needs some redemption. Travis is trying to excel and wins and succeeds at anything that he does. But NASCAR was not one of them.
Yeah.
He struggled, and everyone kind of gave him shit for it. So I really do think that he's going to come back to the drawing board. And, I don't think he was going to go let himself go out in the NASCAR realm with the finishes that he was. Like, I think he wants to go and, kill it now. So, I'm going to be real. It's really interesting to see what he'll have to bring to the table now.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like, I haven't watched a NASCAR race in I don't know how long. I can guarantee you I'm going to be tuned. It's in Vegas. I may actually just drive out for it. It's in the middle of September. If I don't have anything going, I may just actually drive to Vegas and go watch. Because I'm that excited over it. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Do it.
Maybe we ought to go and do some live radio from TP's pit, Hood. I don't know.
I would love that.
So, I don't know. That's now we're brainstorming on air. But, hey, we are going to run a contest. You don't know about this. We're going to run a contest. Actually, 2 contests, right? So, starting this week, and I put a teaser out on my social media. It involves Amy Hood, and it involves my friend John Tuba, amazing filmmaker. He developed a new board game called the Vegas Torino board game. They're like $75 at retail. It's like a collector's edition. It comes with like legit poker chips, like Vegas-style poker chips and all this other stuff. It's an amazing board game. Thing's heavy. The box weighs a ton because it's just like literally it's heavy duty. But anyways, he gave me a couple of these to do a giveaway. So we're going to do a giveaway. I'm kind of shooting from the fly here, but I got 2 of them to give away. So I think I need to get some subscriptions and some ratings to the Down and Dirty Radio Show and to Project Action on iTunes. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to throw up a graphic. It'll probably be tomorrow. And you guys will have a week until next week we'll announce the winners. But you're going to have to go and you're going to have to share the graphic, and you're going to have to like Amy Hood. You're going to have to like Jim Beaver and like John Tuba, or it's at Tuba Art Films, I think, on Instagram. And then the way we're going to determine the winner, if you've done that, I'm going to make you go and give a review over there on iTunes. It'll be real easy. I'll line it up so you guys can, on the graphic, so you guys know the links and where to go. Go and give a review to Down and Dirty Radio Show or Project Action. When you leave your review, leave your Instagram username there, and we are going to randomly pick one person that from the Down and Dirty Radio Show reviews and one from Project Action reviews, and we're going to give you guys some board games and ship them out. So that's the way it's going to work.
Free stuff. Who doesn't like free stuff?
Okay. So that's this contest. So guess what else we're giving away, Hood? We're ramping stuff up here. Our fans are going to love us. You got to help me come up with an idea how to give these away. General Tire called me, and my friend Caitlin at General Tire, one of the marketing people, she says, Jimmy, I got a free set of tires that we want to give away to one of your listeners. So she said, we're going to send you a certificate for a free set of tires. I know Amy's got some tires, General Tires on her Danger Ranger. Everybody knows I've got General
Tires. Love my grabbers. They're amazing.
Everybody knows I've got General Tires. But anyways, they're giving a certificate for a free set of tires, and one of our listeners, we are going to give them a brand new set of tires courtesy of General Tire. You and I, Hood, we got to figure out how we're going to give this away, though.
I already know. Like, I already have a great idea sitting in my head right now.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I had threads coming out of my tires on my truck, And I kept telling Jim that, I'm like, why is my truck driving weird? Sending him photos of this crazy tread, like all the wires and everything popping out of my tires. Like, it was bad. Like, I needed to pit my ride. Like, I feel like people need to show us a photo of their vehicle and maybe where they like to drive it.
Okay.
Like whether you take your truck out to the Sandpit, do you take your truck to daycare to drop your kids off? Do you take your truck to, or your vehicle, whatever it may be, the grocery store, the laundromat, or something really exciting like, to the beach or to the motocross track, to the driving range, whatever. Show us where you take your ride and that you need maybe to pimp it out, something cool like that, where you actually got to take your vehicle to your favorite spot and tell us why that you need a little upgrade to get there. Yeah,
because General Tire's tagline is anywhere as possible, so that it makes a lot of sense. I'm thinking you're onto something, but I'm thinking we got to take a short break, and we come back. I don't know. We'll brainstorm a little more on this. We got a little bit of time, but we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? DirtFish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, DirtFish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, DirtFish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, DirtFish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit DirtFish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from DirtFish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at DirtFish Rally. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. When we went to break, we were just brainstorming on how we're going to give away a set of General Tires, courtesy of our partners at General Tire. And I don't know. I think you're onto something, Hood. I'm just waiting to get this certificate in the mail. But yeah,
I think it totally works with their slogan. Show us your anywhere. Where you go and where your vehicle takes you. It doesn't have to be the best vehicle, the coolest, baddest thing on the road. I mean, your vehicle is your chariot to get wherever you want to go, and show us why you need a little bit of upgrade to get to your favorite spot. And I think it'd be really cool, and it's really interesting to see where people's, priorities are. Is it to go out, to the country, to a farm, or, to the racetrack, or is it to, take your kids to school and, do the family life? Like, I just would love to see, what's important to other people and the rides that get them there too. It's cool.
Yeah, and when we give these away, it doesn't necessarily have to be like the craziest place is gonna get the tires.
No.
Like it's just I don't
maybe
know.
Tell us, what why it's important. Like I'm actually really
I want the story.
I
want the story. Yeah.
Your vehicle is your escape to you different parts of your life. Like I remember, I don't know what I'd do without my driver's license. Whether it's to go out to the motocross track or go to the cabin or drive around the city to get out of the house. My vehicle is like my paradise, my little Danger Ranger. And everyone makes fun of me. They're like, why don't you get a bigger truck? Like, you drive a monster truck. I'm like, yeah, my monster truck's my weekend driver, and my Danger Ranger is my daily. I love it.
Well, that's me. There's people don't really, to me, that's where, that's my zen place. I can get in the Subaru and crank some tunes and, and just literally go and drive. And it's to me, you can reset your mind, reboot, it's, some people are like, oh, I hate driving. I'm like, I love driving. To me, the greatest thing is going, oh, I get to drive across country. All right, I get to spend 3 days in the car and see some amazing country. There's nothing better than that. And other people are like, oh, I hate driving, I don't want to fly. I'm like, what planet are you from? I hate flying.
So, speaking of that, I am heading out to Canada here after my last show here in Moline. And then my boyfriend, who's American, is coming to Canada as well. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't think I want to show him what Canada's all about by being in Winnipeg, woo, prairies, wheat, cows, yay, whatever. So we're actually road tripping, and we're going to drive 16 hours and drive to Fernie. I want to actually show him what real Canada looks like, and we're going to go downhill mountain biking, snowboarding. We're going to do everything, but I'm actually going to take him to the mountains and show him what Canada is all about. But it's going to be sick. I can't wait. But that's my thing. Without my truck and obviously my General tires, because God knows I would only not get there with what I had on there before. But, I could just jump in my vehicle and escape to some amazing place and adventure and see the world. And I'm really appreciative of that. And, maybe we'll throw our bikes in the back of my truck and do some riding along the way.
Yeah, you got to get him some poutine while he's up there too. You got to get him some poutine, right? That's.
I know. I'll give him the whole Canadian experience.
Yeah. So we've got to talk some Supercross now. We got to switch gears because you and I can chat about nonsense for I don't know how long. But so first off, next week, 2 amazing guests, a full moto themed hour. So we've got Ryan Dungey. And this is going to be a pre-taped interview Hood and I are doing later this week, so it'll be prior to Supercross, but he will be on next week's show. We're going to air that interview. But it's gonna. I can already tell you it's going to run long, so we're going to take a portion of it. We're going to air it in next week's show, and then the full one, we're going to have to drop it in Project Action next week because it's going to be way too long to fit in the segments here on the show. But we do have Ryan Dungey lined up. But this one, I know Amy particularly is really excited about. Literally the raddest ripper on the planet. Ryder DiFrancesco is going to be on the show, and this kid, I start looking at his credentials, Amy. I don't know anybody that's ever accomplished so much at a young age as this kid. It's just crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
He is
he's really surpassed the Ryan Schecklers and the little Adam Cincerellos when he was a kid too. This kid gets on Jimmy John's private airplane to fly back to California, or not Jimmy John's.
He's sponsored by Jimmy John's, and then he's got the Factory Cowie deal.
Kevin Hendricks playing, I believe, and the kid is just in with everybody, but he's also a lovable kid.
Yeah.
He is super gnarly and badass on a dirt bike. It's unbelievable, his raw natural talent and his love for the sport. He is very passionate about what he does, but he's also a really stand-up little kid, and he has manners, and he's cool, and he's very well spoken, and wow, he reminds me of a young Travis Pastrana who is going to excel at anything that he dips himself into later in life. And I'm really excited to watch his career grow, and he's a really stand-up kid, and I applaud his parents for raising him right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be fun. So that and Ryan Dungey coming up next week. I mean, man, it doesn't even matter what we throw in the first hour. I can tell you it's a must-listen show regardless, right? But we got to talk. Okay, so that's next week. But this past weekend, Supercross, man, you know, you and I have been talking about Tomac and Dungey and back and forth. And Hood, I don't even know what to make of the Supercross race last weekend. Like, what happened?
Oh, man, I watched it, too. We were watching it before we headed out on the town, and I was really excited. I mean, obviously, it started off incredible, and then, you know, clearing that rib plate takes a lot of heat, and we always talk about it. You know, Ryan Dungey is a very calculated, very, you know, he doesn't make any mistakes, and we always talk about, we always make bets here, and I always said, you know, Eli Tomac is not a safe bet. He does make a lot of mistakes. He's not used to running in that champion spot, you know, all the way to the end of the season, and it's very heavy. You know, it's a lot of pressure, and it's a big head game at this point. And man, he fell over in a corner like a beginner. Like I was like, no, and I didn't even want to keep watching. I was so mad, and I don't even know if you had the opportunity to watch him pick his bike up and throw his leg around there. Like, he picked that bike up like a grandpa. I was so disappointed. You know, he didn't jump back on, hop on, and take off. Like, you could see the defeat and the devastation in his demeanor as he picked that bike up. And, you know, it took him a second to start it. And you could tell by his body language that he was defeated there. And I was really let down, because that's not what champions do. You know, they hold on to that bike and they get back on like in 2 seconds. Like, he really lost a lot of positions by that choice and decision, and then you know, he didn't really make up a lot of time. It took him a really long time to get by any of the riders, and I don't even know what place he finished. I know it was outside the top 10, and I think it cost him 9 points. But then let's talk about Ryan Dungey and Marvin Musquin. So I don't really know where I stand. Obviously, it was really clear today what happened. We've seen it before, okay? It's not something new that, you know, teammates going into a championship, you know, we've seen it before. Now, KTM, Roger DaCosta, you know, he's backing the fastest of fastest riders in the 2017, Marvin Musquin and Ryan Dungey. I seen Marvin pass Ryan earlier on in that moto like he had this vengeance demon on his back. Like, all he wanted to do was prove a point that, you know, no matter that Ryan is supposed to win this championship, that he's going to win this race, and he has the ability and the speed and the talent to come and win. And he made a pass like Ryan, like he was standing still. So I thought that Marvin Musquin was going to top the box this weekend, and then we all seen him, quote unquote, cross rut and move on over to the side of the track and let Ryan Dungey pass by. And I kind of cried on the inside a little bit, and yeah, and that's what we saw. And we saw everybody deny it, and we saw everybody, you know, shove it under the rug. But now, Jim, I have to ask you.
You got to ask me.
Now, you have to see it from Ryan Dungey's shoes, Marvin Musquin's shoes, and Ryan DaCosta's shoes. So, obviously, it was an extremely smart, taking one for the team for, you know, Marvin Musquin. And I do think it was maybe the right thing for do as a team. Like, you know, you were riding for a team, and it's Ryan Dungey's championship, but it's a team championship. It's KTM's championship. He is part of KTM. He is orange blood, and that is a very hard but sportsmanship thing to do. Now, in the sport of motocross and supercross, do you think that was the right thing?
Yeah, the thing is that we're assuming that it was purposely done. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate here just a little bit. Like, it was so blatantly bad that he pulled over that part of me goes, nobody would make it that blatant. Like, maybe he really did get cross-rutted and screw up, because, like, I would let off the gas a little bit in a corner, maybe go a little wide, and kind of let Dungey tuck under and make it look, kind of like I was racy. But, like, that was a blatant, like, I'm just pulling over. So part of me is like,
you're not taught action classes, okay? In Supercross.
Yeah, like, part of me is like,
I do train with their image coach and a little bit of personality coach, but we ain't no acting coach, okay?
Yeah, like part of me was like, it's so blatant that maybe what Marvin's saying is probably the truth. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a big Dungey fan. I'm a Marvin fan. I'm a Tomac fan. I understand whether it was purpose or not. I understand. I've seen this in Formula One before. There's this iconic deal from like 10 years ago when Michael Schumacher pulled over, or Barrichello pulled over, and Schumacher went around him on the last lap and took the win to clinch the championship. Like, I mean, this happens in motorsport all the time. It's, they call it team orders. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you don't think Kawasaki would have done the same thing with Tomac if he had a teammate there? They would have done the exact same thing. So whether it was purpose or not, I mean, it's motorsport. It's what happens. I've seen it in off-road racing before. I've seen guys literally, two brothers, one of them pulled over at the Baja 1000 10 feet before the finish line, pulled over and waited 15 minutes for his brother to finish first, and then he pulled across the finish line just so his brother could clinch the points championship. So this happens all the time. It's nothing new. It's just it is what it is. But shoot, I just forgot. We're running overtime here, but we got to take a short break here on the radio show. We come back. Cameron Steele on the line. I guess I could vent on this all day, but there you go. Yeah. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound of the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, waiting on my buddy Cameron Steele to call into the radio show. Your NORA 1000 winner. I just got a text from him, and he'll be calling in shortly. So I do know we got Mr. Steele locked and loaded, but I got to tell you, this was a big one for Cameron, winning the NORA Mexican 1000. That is always a good day anytime you win any event in Baja, and this is becoming one of everybody's favorite events of the year, mixing some new stuff, some new trophy trucks and Class 1 cars in with the vintage class. And, man, I got to see Sal Fish out there with my buddy Jim Riley. It's always a good day, but I'd like to welcome the infamous Cameron Steele to the line. How's everything going, my friend?
Everything's going great, buddy. How are you doing?
Oh, doing well, buddy, but not as good as you, man. I just said before you called in, anytime you win in Baja is a good day, but NORA 1000 win, man, this is it's got to feel pretty special.
It's really nice to be able to have just a great, clean race on the peninsula, but more important than winning, just having our team really hit all the marks, proving the vehicle's ready for more races. And being able to share it with all the people in Baja. Just the fans were so great all week, and being able to spend 5 days racing in the daylight, seeing all the beautiful places, and having all the fans, waving and cheering was really cool. So the winning experience is cool, but not the main reason why we're there, so to speak, but definitely not a bad part of it.
Yeah, well, and I know you guys – I mean, a lot of people, say it's better in Baja. They love Baja, but Baja, I mean, it's almost become your second home, man. I mean, you're down there. I mean, not only for the races, but I know you do some, you're involved in some charitable causes south of the border. But you've got Rip to Cabo, you've got trail emissions, you've got Baja Beach Blast. I mean, you're down there a lot for a lot of the the events that you put on down there. I mean, you probably spend as much time in Baja as you almost do stateside anymore.
I don't know that it's equivalent the time, but we probably spend a solid 4 months in Baja a year, and we're very blessed to be able to do that. And it's been cool to be able to incorporate our family in going, some of the truck trips and some of the racing that we do, but also it's been great to be able to get to know more people down there and share the stoke. And yes, we do get involved with some causes and try to share with the people of Baja, and it's been a great experience. But 4 months a year, I'm sure. This last month of April was pretty crazy. We're still washing away the sting of San Felipe, but we were there a week for that, which was in early April. Then Rip to Cabo for, I believe, all in with the riding and hanging out 15 days, and then home for a couple days and back down for 7 or 8 days around the NORA Mexican 1000. So April is busy, but spring is so beautiful on the Baja Peninsula. Everything is blooming and so green, and some of the stuff that we got to see, look where you're in places where it's normally just desert, dirt, nothing. It looked like golf courses. Wow. So it was pretty shocking. Yeah,
Arizona's actually been that way this year, so I can only imagine Baja, who gets which gets a lot more rain than we do, but Arizona's been pretty green. It's like a carpet across the desert, so I can only imagine how beautiful Baja looks this time of year.
The entire western United States and Mexico, I think, are all blooming, having the same effect. I mean, the mustard plants here in California and just all the different flowers and ground flowers. I mean, the land is so fertile in Baja, where it's just regular dirt. A lot of people don't realize it. It just needs the water, and when that water pops, it's just unbelievable. The ground flowers that come out of nowhere, and all those washes in San Felipe before the San Felipe 250. We were down there on a ride, not related to that race, but we were able to ride some canyons that both were used for the race and weren't. And it just was shocking to see the flowers, and we stopped and took photos. It was so crazy looking, but just so blessed to be able to spend that time down there.
Yeah. Well, and you talk about spending time most of the April, and, what are you going to get a couple of weeks off, and then you get to go down and do it again for the Baja 500, right?
Before the Baja 500, we're going to have our annual trip, Trucking Good Time. So we have a smaller trip that doesn't have any media that we go down and share a little bit in May. A couple other things we'll probably do in Baja in May. So yeah, it'll be busy right away again. Spring and summer are just so awesome in Baja. I mean, the best months in Baja, in my opinion, are April and May, and then October, of course, is just spectacular as well. But any time's a good time for Baja as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't think there's ever a bad time for Baja, that's for sure. So, obviously, next up for you guys, Baja 500. I know we're, 1 year away from the big one down there.
That's not actually true. I totally forgot. We have the Method Race Wheels Laughlin Desert Challenge as well. That's in less than 2 weeks.
I forgot about that.
We have a little bit of drama relating to that, so we're a little bit off cycle with our motor rotation. So we're actually on the chassis dyno today with one of our trucks, seeing if we can make it work to go to that race with the trophy truck. We'll be there with the 6100. Bobby Picoy and Mike Kraft have been racing for the championship there. So we'll be there for sure with that, but we're really trying to get there with the trophy truck because it's an important race for us, because not only do we love it and love the format, but also Method, who's a big supporter of our program, has stepped up and supported that race. So we want to be there to support them as well.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I haven't raced Laughlin in a couple of years, and then raced there at the UTV World Championship, and we had to do 10 laps around that 16-mile course. I got to tell you, dude, I forgot how rough Laughlin can get. By lap 10, like literally, it was like hell on earth, and I hadn't raced Laughlin in probably 4 or 5 years, and I went, oh my gosh, I forgot how bad this is. It's just absolutely, people don't realize how degraded a course can get over the course of a few laps, and that's with UTVs. It's been a long time since I've run a trophy truck there, man. I can only imagine what you guys are going to be, or what the guys are going to be jumping into there. It's just, but it's such a fun event. It really is.
Yeah, the attrition rate is really high with the trophy trucks. We all show up there and we're like, oh, it's graded, or it's it's not that rough, but just hang on, it'll get there.
Yeah, right.
And by the second day of trophy truck racing, there was a lot of trucks parked. We had some issues with our truck, deserved, of course, and self-inflicted, but we were smashing a little too hard and used our truck up. So it happened to quite a few people, and it's just part of racing Laughlin. It's going to be rough, and no matter how not rough you think it is on Friday or whenever we're doing the recon lap or the qualifying, it'll be there. Just hang on for a second.
Yeah. Well, and here's funny, and you'll probably see her later this year, so you can ask her about it. So I had Alyssa Ronick co-drive 2 laps with me in the UTV at the UTV World Championship, right? And so Alyssa's in the car, and we go and we do our pre-run lap on Friday, right? And we're in the Razor, and it literally was like a super freeway cam. And she's like, we get out, and she's like, well, this isn't really off-road. This is just like driving around. And I'm like, no, just wait. And she got in the car, and it was like she got out, and she's like, holy crap, I've never seen something change completely so drastically. And I'm like, welcome to off-road,
Yeah, when I was fortunate enough to be the helmet camera guy and commentator for the U.S. Motocross Championships back in the day, I got to ride Southwick before anybody went on the track. So it's just like a clean canvas of sand, and you could just slide and roost and just laugh and have a good time. We did a comparison, and then I went out again after all the pro practices, and it looked like landmines had gone off everywhere. So yeah, it's just part of the development of those race courses, and that's why San Felipe looks like it looks. There hasn't been a grader through some of those sections in many, many years, and it just looks like one giant explosion after another. It makes it fun, but it's definitely hard on equipment.
Yeah, it looks like San Felipe looks like a military bombing range or something, man. It's like every time you go down there and look at those whoops, it's like they add inches. It's like, oh my gosh, how can these get any deeper? And then they do, But
yeah, the fun part is the rookies always talk to me about the guys that want to race Baja for the first time. They're always, oh, we'll do the San Felipe race. It's the shortest and easiest. I'm like, whoa, hang on there. Yeah. That's probably not the best first one to do.
No, not at all. So how about you guys? Obviously, we got multiple trucks running out of the shop at this point in time. What else is up for you guys? What's the schedule look like for this year?
Well, we're super fortunate to have 3 vehicles coming out of our shop at Nora, and all 3 were able to finish. And, we teamed up with the El Sfortudo guys. My good buddy of 30 years, Greg DiStefano, finished 3rd overall, 2nd in the Evolution class. So it was cool to have all 5 vehicles have good runs and good crew around them. And our schedule really is all focused on getting our best effort to the Baja 1000. So we're trying to spend as much time in Baja and on what we would suspect might be race courses. And, I think the Nora event was a really excellent opportunity to race some sections that I think we will race at the Baja 1000 at speed, or for the most part at speed, and in the same exact truck with the same exact tires, same motor package and everything. Originally we were going to Nora with our 1999 built Geyser Brothers truck, which has won back in 2013 and is an amazing vehicle, but it's not our most current. And that was the one we were taking, but we had a problem with it, a vibration. And just the day before the leaving for Nora, we decided to switch to our San Felipe truck, and we scrambled and shortened the drive shaft, because that's what ended up taking us out at the San Felipe 250, where the drive shaft was a hair too long. The cap popped off, and we got sand inside and lost all the splines. But that truck raced San Felipe and the entire Nora on one prep that Renee Brugger and the crew put on it. So wow. We were very fortunate there. But, we're just trying to get ready for that Baja 1000. I'm not sure what we'll be doing after that, but I know that leading up to that, our whole focus is racing that Baja 1000. So we're bummed we're missing the Dos Mares race this week. We didn't have the equipment to race another race at this time. So we're just home trying to scramble for Laughlin. Then the Baja 500. We're definitely looking at the Rosarito race with Score, and Vegas to Reno has been pretty heavily on our radar and a good practice for the Baja 1000.
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure what we're going to be doing for Vegas to Reno, but a lot of things on our radar, and of course Trail of Missions is coming up too. So we have our truck trip in June that we're really looking forward to.
Yeah. Well, before we let you go, got to ask, how awesome was it to see Sal Fish down there at the Mexican 1000 and actually in a car?
So awesome. We're actually working on a project with Sal called BF Goodrich 50 Best of Baja. We haven't let that out yet. I think this might be the first time I've spoken about it openly, but a group of us have got together and rated based on off-roading and celebrating the 50 years of racing in Baja, our 50 best spots. And Sal's involved with that, so we were able to sit down and do an interview with him. But, besides that, just hearing his stoke, Jim Riley and the Rip and Rooster crew really made a huge impact on Sal's, life and career with letting him or inviting him to race with them. He was so excited, and he told me that I think it was no one had asked him to race since 1970.
Wow.
Because he raced a couple of the Nora races before he became the boss at Score.
Yeah.
If I don't have any of my information wrong. But yeah, Sal was amazing. He looks great. He says he's almost 100%, and just he was so stoked. And of course, he loves La Paz. He loves Baja Sur, and it was really great to be able to spend that time with him. And he's just an amazing human being. I just simply call him the godfather of off-road.
Yeah.
None of us would be here doing what we're doing if it wasn't for Sal.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. The guy is he's just an amazing human. Stoked to see him down there. Stoked to see him doing well. Happy for you guys, man. Congratulations on the win. And, I got to get down there on one of your Baja trips with you sometime soon, buddy.
Yeah, we have our summer trip is called the Baja Beach Bash. Johnny Campbell from JCR Honda and myself have been putting together. I could be mistaken, but I think this is the 9th year. Last year we raised $107,000 for the kids at Rancho Santa Marta, which is a school and orphanage for hard learners, and it's just a great place, and the people there have been spectacular. So we're looking at not only recruiting people to come down and support and be a part of the ride, but also to donate. So everybody out there, get ready. The call's coming from Johnny and myself to try to raise that number again. But it's just a hugely amazing opportunity to get into Baja, and share with some great kids. And it's a kind of low impact, 4 days, Northern Baja, pretty easy. So if you want to come ride a dirt bike, Jimmy, we got a spot for you, and I don't know what your riding skills are, but I could always ride you double.
May have to take you up on that. I don't know about the double part, but yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate your time. We're running short here, but best of luck to you. In the upcoming events. I'm sure we'll talk sometime soon.
Right on. I appreciate it. Thank the Lord keeping everybody safe down there at Nora, and just continue to pray for everybody's safety as we go along. Let's have some fun and make this 50th anniversary of Baja Racing a great one for everyone. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Cameron. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
MMA at its best, and it's back. It's the RUF-13. Live cage fights on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino Showroom Saturday, May 13th with live fights starting at 7 p.m. Get your $25 ringside tickets now. General admission is just $15. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets available online or at the gift shop. Live cage fights on the river.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, and I just got done with my buddy Cameron Steele, winner of the NORA Mexican 1000 down there in Baja, vintage/new car. I don't know, they call it Evolution off-road race. Also, got Frederick Aasbo coming up here on, in the Formula Drift post-event interview. But some of those results coming out of Orlando, talk about an epic event. Can't wait to have Frederick on the air. But it was all Frederick Aasbo, followed by Michael Essa and Dai Yoshihara. Good to see Dai back up there competing for podiums. Vaughn Gittin Jr. Finishing in the 4th spot. And then also some notables making that, I guess, grade 8. I don't know what you call it. Final 8. Grade 8, I don't know. Ryan Turk, he was in there, and you look at that. In the 16, you had Forsberg versus Turk. The teammates doing battle. That was an epic one. Getting Junior against Mohan, that was another awesome one there. Aasbo and Field, man. Field had a really good car this weekend. Aasbo getting the best of him, so definitely an exciting event. Orlando brings its own unique set of challenges, as does just about every event on the Formula Drift calendar. But big shout out to Frederick Aasbo for that win there and bringing it home. With the win in Orlando, and that was your Formula Drift post-event results. And we will be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here. This is your DirtFish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at DirtFish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. Looking for a discount from our friends at DirtFish? Hey, they gave us a coupon code. What do you know? Use a coupon code JBDirtFish, 15% off any class at DirtFish Rally School. Get up there, tweet them, Instagram them, tell them Jim Beaver sent you. I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. And part of our DirtFish Rally Report for this week, big one coming at you. It was Red Bull Global RallyCross and their kickoff event coming at you from Memphis, Tennessee, and did not disappoint. I kind of dug the venue. Had a good mix of we got to use rally terminology. I call it dirt. I guess rallyists, the purists, they call it gravel and tarmac. I call it dirt and asphalt. I'm a desert guy. It's dirt and asphalt, tarmac and gravel. You can tell somebody's background, right? Well, there was a good mix of, quote, tarmac and gravel for you rally folk. But anyways, it was a solid event. Got to give a shout out to my friends at Subaru. Atkinson taking a heat win, looking fast all weekend long. The Subarus had a little bad luck in the final. Patrick Sandell sounded like broke a tie rod, and Atkinson having some trouble of his own. But it was all Andretti Rallycross. Scott Speed, yet another victory, becoming the winningest Rallycross driver in Red Bull GRC history this weekend. You had Tanner Faust in second. My boy Steve Arpin in third. Shout out for Steve on the podium. What a great story. If you missed last week's interview, go back and listen to that. Steve Arpin, it's going to be one of your favorites. Guarantee it. Mitchell DeYoung taking a fourth spot. He had a podium spot until Steve Arpin snaked him using the Joker right at the end. Great pass by Steve, but great result by Mitchell DeYoung. Oliver Erickson, Cabot Bigham, Sebastian Erickson, and then you had Atco and Sandell rounding out your top 9. It sounds like Austin Dine having a little bit of trouble there. Wasn't able to make the final. But then looking at your lights results, it was Connor Martell with a win, Cyril Raymond in second, Christian Brooks with that third spot. So big shout out to Connor Martell, who will be on the show here in about 15-20 minutes. Looking forward to that. But that was your DirtFish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at DirtFish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. Don't forget, use that coupon code JBDirtFish for 15% off at DirtFish Rally School. And we're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP 1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? DirtFish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at DirtFish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
All the hits of Boston and Styx. Boz Styx, a tribute to 2 great rock bands, live in the Blue Water Resort and Casino showroom. Don't miss David Victor, former lead singer of Boston, perform Boston and Styx greatest hits Saturday, May 27th. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starts at 8. General admission tickets just $25. VIP only $40. Tickets on sale now. Get your tickets at the gift shop or online.
Resort and Casino.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here. And just getting done with hour number 1 in a DirtFish Rally Report. We got that GRC Curtain Call segment coming up, as well as our Formula Drift post-event interview with Frederick Aasbo. Got DirtFish's Connor Martell coming up here in the next segment in our GRC Curtain Call. But right now, a lot of you know, I do have a second show in addition to this amazing show. It's called Project Action, and it's all things kind of that don't fit into this show, right? We do action sports. We do, I don't know, we get some celebrities in there, some musicians. Had Sebastian Bach from Skid Row recently, Naomi Kyle from IGN.com. But we also do some auto racing, some stuff that we don't normally fit into this show. Guys like Antron Brown. And he is actually, we're going to run a little teaser clip. Had a ton of fun with Antron. It's like a 40-minute interview that I did. It's dropping this Thursday on Project Action on Podcast 1. But this is just kind of a little teaser that I did with Antron. And I think you guys are going to like it. And hopefully it makes you go over there and listen to the full uncut interview here dropping this Thursday on Project Action on Podcast 1. Here's Antron Brown with me. This is dropping this Thursday. That's the truth, you know. And I've watched somebody. There was like a one of those stop motion things, or where they kind of speed up the thing. But to watch, you know, and like you said, people talk about IndyCar, NASCAR, even Formula One pit stops, and oh, it's so fast and everything. But to watch what happens in an NHRA, you know, pit when you guys pull in. And to me, it's like watching, you said your daughter's in dance. It's like watching these dancers. I mean, it's like a ballet. Like everybody knows where they need to go and where they need to put their hand and their feet so they're not getting in somebody's way. And it's like this delicate balancing act. And to me, it's so amazing. It's like artwork, you know, when you get to see it, you know, happen and unfold, because, you know, there's only so much time, and to be able to do all of that in that small amount of time, it really is remarkable to watch.
Well, it's poetry in motion, I call it. It's like it's a dance routine where everybody is like symmetry, and they can actually communicate without even talking.
Yeah.
Like I can see a face expression. I know, all right, he needs a space here. I got to dip here. I got to move there. And that's what makes it pretty cool being a part of a team like that. And that's why it's so important to keep all your guys and your gals together. Because once you get a team and you've been together for a year or 2 years, you don't want nobody to go nowhere because you have to start that all over if you just replace one. And that's what makes it so difficult in what we do and how we do it. But that's what makes it yet so rewarding also, too, is that, you know it takes that kind of skill set and the time and synergy to make it all happen. And that's why when you win, it makes it so rewarding because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, our sport is the most high-pressure motorsports out there. Because the thing about it is we don't have time to make up. We don't have time to do over. We have one shot. You don't get a second shot or a third shot. You got one shot, and you got to make that shot count. If not, you're going home. You know what I mean? There's no mulligans in our deal, and that's why I think I love it so much and what makes our sport so intense.
Yeah, that's the truth. I never really looked at it that way. There's no start over. There's no last chance qualifier. You know, if you have a bad lap, there's not 200 more to make it up. You know, it's like you said, you got about 3 or 4 seconds there, and that's all she wrote. You know, it's pretty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a whole weekend can be over in a couple of seconds, and that's what's special about drag racing for sure. How was your time? You know what I mean? You talked about starting out on a bike, and now you're in Top Fuel. And you're in the top, the premier division. But your time on a bike. I mean, I love watching pro stock bike. I think just going that fast on a bike in such a short amount of time to me is just amazing, and the forces put on somebody. And you're out there exposed to the elements. But your time on a bike. I mean, what did you learn there that when you made the transition to Top Fuel, helped you? I mean, because there had to been a transition period. But I mean, how did being on a bike set you up for where you're at now?
The bike, it taught me so many different various things. Like when I was on the bike, it taught me how to race. Like when you're literally on a motorcycle, we had to shift it 5 times. We had a 6-speed transmission, and you had to shift in less than a half a second for first. For first gear it was 1 second, next one's a half a second apart. You shift that thing 5 times by the time you got to half track, and you had to navigate it with your body, lean it, tilt it. It's by far one of the hardest vehicles to race and to be on time and to win. So I think that's what really helped me set me up for Top Fuel. Now, the bike didn't get me prepared for the rate of acceleration or how I was going to have to drive the race car. But what it did do, it gave me the skill set to race. And when I got into Top Fuel, I didn't have to learn how to race all over again. I was able to take the stuff that I learned from there and apply it right into Top Fuel. But I had to learn how to navigate and tame the beast, if you call it. That's what we call those fuel cars. They're beasts. I had to learn how to navigate them down the racetrack and try to keep it right, you know what I mean, and guide it. Because you can't – I'll never say you drive a Top Fuel car. You guide them down the racetrack. That's what you try to do to the best of your ability because they're a beast to handle. When you drive them, that's when you end up into the wall or into another lane or upside down really fast.
Yeah. Well, what was it like? I mean, because you were on a bike, you know what I mean, and you'd experienced that acceleration the first time you sat in a Top Fuel car and were able to go down the track. What was that like for you? I mean, it had to have been like a wow, like this is what I've been missing all these years, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it was the one thing, the bikes that I always like to tell people is that it gave you that essence of feeling free. And when you drop the clutch, it was like you were sitting on top of a rocket, and you were driving this rocket. And the only way you steered it with your hips, not the front, with your hips.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most coolest experiences that I ever done in my life. And I always loved motorcycles because that's where I came from. And I always would be a super fan of the pro stock motorcycle category and the Top Fuel bikes also.
Yeah. And that was Antron Brown, just a little 5.5 minute teaser there of what's to come on Project Action, and that full interview this Thursday. We get into talking about life and his kids and his background and coming up and and literally how he was wrenching on cars from a young age. And this is a guy who he's earned everything he's ever had. Wasn't silver spoon fed. Sponsors didn't throw themselves at him. He literally had to grind it out to get where he's at today. And I had a ton of fun spending, I don't know, it's like 35, 40 minutes with Antron in that interview. But this is Antron Brown like you've never heard him before. It's his full story, his real story, the backstory. It's not all, hey, I'm killing it in NHRA this weekend. It's not like that. This is literally Antron Brown, raw, uncut, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Drops this Thursday, Project Action on Podcast One. Make sure and, if you can tune in on my website, I'll have the interview there, or Podcast One, or the Podcast One app. But if you really want it beamed direct to your phone, make sure and head over to iTunes right now and search Project Action, and you can subscribe to the podcast. And if you want to leave a rating or a review, if you leave a review and you leave your Twitter, Instagram @username, I will follow you back on said social media after I see it pop up there. So much appreciated anybody who does that. You can go over to Down and Dirty Radio Show and subscribe and rate and review to us there as well. Same offer. You leave your Twitter, Instagram username. I will follow you back. So thanks to everybody who has done it already. Thanks to everybody who continues to do it. And thanks to everybody who tunes into Project Action, man. It's been a fun spin-off show. If you like me here, you're going to love me over there. Sometimes the guests cross over. People like Colette Davis, Antron Brown, obviously, we threw him over there. NHRA, not quite the perfect fit over here, but we've had a lot of fun with it. Great interview with Antron. Throw in some celebrities, musicians. Naomi Kyle last week. Seriously, that interview is doing massive numbers. So thanks to everybody who was listening to that. I didn't know what to expect, but man, you guys have come out in force for that interview with Naomi Kyle. So thank you. And the same for the Sebastian Bach interview. I know that interview kind of went viral. He talked about a Skid Row reunion that hadn't actually ever been public, about a potential, and man, the music industry picked up on that, and that interview has literally gone viral. So thanks to everybody who keeps supporting that podcast. Project Action on Podcast One. That was Antron Brown. We're going to come back. We got our Red Bull Global RallyCross Curtain Call segment with Connor Martell from DirtFish. It's coming up right now after this break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? DirtFish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at DirtFish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
This is Jay Moore. I have a new sports podcast every day. More sports. Hashtag more sports. You don't even have to know anything about sports to love it. All you got to know is I get down. I tell it like it is. I curse. I know. That's weird. And I guarantee you will love it. Podcast One app. Please hit subscribe.
MMA at its best, and it's back. It's the RUF 13. Live cage fights on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino Showroom Saturday, May 13th with live fights starting at 7 p.m. Get your $25 ringside tickets now. General admission is just $15. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets available online or at the gift shop. Live cage fights on the river.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. This is our Red Bull Global Rallycross Curtain Call segment, and stoked to have, I guess, my DirtFish Rally teammate, Connor Martell, on the line. How's everything going, Connor?
It's going really good, Jim. Just back in Vermont working on the cars.
Working on the cars, grinding away already. I like it, man. That's good. Getting, you can't celebrate too long, right?
No, you can't. You always got to be working.
Yeah. So I got to say, I know it's been kind of fun. So because I got my DirtFish helmet deal this year, and then I know you and James got yours. So I saw your helmet last year, and and Trevor, who designed mine, goes, "Oh, what do you want?" I said, "Well, I really like Connor's last year." And so he's like, "All right, well, let me see what I can come up with, right?" And so I had no idea what mine was going to look like. It just kind of showed up, and I was like, "Oh, you killed it, man." And now I was like, all right, now I was like really excited for yours and James's to release, you know what I mean? I'm like, wonder how different they're going to be. And like every single one of our helmets are so drastically different. It's kind of cool that they were able to just do everything. I mean, they all have their own unique kind of take on DirtFish and kind of, I don't know, just kind of cool. So I don't know, you had to been pretty pumped on your helmet this year.
Yeah, no, I Trevor gave me the option to do kind of what I wanted to do. And so that was pretty cool. And I knew that we were going to do the snow camo graphics this year, and our suit has like a little bit of white on it and a little bit of orange and black, so I figured it'd be cool just to kind of have my helmet match the car, and I might add a few things, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really like James, though. I'm actually kind of jealous about James's helmet. His is pretty cool with the smoke and stuff.
Yeah, I saw his, and it's like, yeah, his was totally not what I was expecting. So no, it turned out.
No, yeah, I know. It's kind of like it doesn't pop very much, but it's simple and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty rad. But man, coming into this year, I know you guys. The off season, man, they have kept you busy. I mean, you've been training, you've been in and out of cars. I mean, you've been doing some media training. I mean, you guys have. I know fitness. I mean, you've done your homework this off season. I mean, you had to have been pretty excited coming into this opening round, going, I think we really got a chance to bring home a championship this year. How was your feelings in the off season heading into this opening round?
Yeah, me and James put in a lot of work before the season started. We worked together on a lot of things. We did testing together. We talked about some things that we can work on this year and what we can change about the team this year. And I think they're all really positive changes, and it showed this weekend. We have pretty much brand new cars this year that got fully rebuilt, and they're going to keep getting re-prepped and everything here in Vermont. So they're going to be really, really good cars throughout the whole entire year. And, we started out the weekend really well. Didn't qualify first, but that's okay, and we were just able to be really consistent. James had some bad luck, but to be able to come from the last row to fifth, that's really good for his first full year race. And I mean, it's really awesome to come in and be able to take the win and get the points lead right out of the gate. That's a lot of confidence, but it's a long season and there's a lot of races and there's a lot of bad luck that will probably come, but we just have to try and push through it and be as consistent as we can. And I think with everything we did on the off season, I think it's going to be a more consistent season this year.
Yeah, well, and now, I mean, how's that feel? You leaving the first round, you got the target on your back, man. It's it's one of those things where you feel like everybody's gunning for you now. You got to watch your backside. Seems like you're a moto guy. It seems like when you're when you're the guy with, carrying the red plate or something like that, everybody's elbows stick out a little bit more, when they're playing, when they're going into a corner. And I think the same things with race cars. It seems like, when you're the guy out front, guys may just get a little bit slightly more aggressive when they're going around you.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a hard season. It just, everyone showed speed this weekend, and everyone's really fast this year. And Cyril Raymond is unbelievably quick. I think once he gets used to like the new car he has, and gets used to how the series works and stuff, he's even going to get faster, and he's going to be a tough competitor. And Alex was a tough competitor all weekend, but unfortunately he had some bad luck. And last year I won the first round, the second round. But having a target on your back, it's there's a lot of pressure, but it feels good. It feels good that you can go out there and just show everybody that you're not here just to play around. You're here to win the championship, and that's what we're going for this year. So hopefully this year our luck can keep going on, and we can be able to get podium a couple more times during the middle of the season, because last year we just had a lot of bad luck with the car. We had a lot of broken parts, but that's no one's fault. It's just RallyCross. So hopefully this year we can get a little bit luckier and be more consistent.
Yeah. Well, now how's it been for you this year? I mean, cars actually being there in Vermont, it's different than being over in Seattle. I mean, that's your home. The cars are there. You get to see them every day. I mean, do you feel is there a little more comfort level with you instead of, living across the country? I mean, do you feel a little more comfortable with the situation this year? Not that it was bad, in years past, but do you just feel like, to you that, you've got, a better feeling about things just being there in your element?
Yeah, for sure. Anyone would love to live at home, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that this year. So it's just nice to be able to sleep in my own bed, work on the cars, and just knowing that they're perfect for every single race is a confidence booster itself, because you know that you did everything you could in order for the car to be right. And last year in Seattle, it was good. I didn't not like living there, but because I was able to be family with everybody and get to know everybody really well, and work at DirtFish and train every time I had the chance. And I'm not complaining about living there at all, but it definitely is nice to be home, and it's nice to be able to know that I can fly over there whenever I need to get some training and driving in.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing. I mean, that's one thing I've been fortunate, just in my racing and off-road. And, it's like I tell everybody, I get people go, hey, is it worth it to go to DirtFish? And I'm like, there's a reason why I go a couple of times a year to DirtFish. I'm like, I don't care how good you are. I feel like there's something that you can take away. And I've been very fortunate to have that relationship and be able to go up there a couple times a year, you know what I mean? And go up there and train. And, and I know like you, just saying, you're able to go anytime you want, go to DirtFish, do some training, and they've actually got a lights car there. Not many people have a lights car at their disposal where they can go and just, test.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool being able to be on the DirtFish team, because they're the only people that have like just a practice lights car hanging around that you can just go out and train with and practice and try new things. And you're not wearing out the motor on the race car. You're just hammering down on the practice lights car, which is okay. You're there to push and make mistakes, and it's not a big deal if you spin out or go off. It's really, really cool. DirtFish is it's definitely a great tool for people that are starting to drive. And I was just super lucky to be able to have them as a team for my first season.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, there's a relationship with DirtFish there. There's a relationship with Vermont Sports Car. I got to ask, have you had the opportunity to hop in and test a supercar yet?
I wish. No, I haven't yet. Hopefully, the championship win this year will hopefully bring me a seat and maybe get me a test in one of them or any supercar. Obviously the goal is to get into a supercar, so hopefully next year will be that year, or maybe get into some type of other racing, maybe some open wheel stuff, and who knows. I'm just hoping to continue with the racing and to grow my fan base and somehow make it up into the bigger leagues. I just need to work as hard as I can and make sure I do good this year.
Yeah, and how was that? I know you and James went and did some open wheel stuff just to shake it up and kind of throw you out of your element. How was that? How was the time in the open wheel cars?
Yeah, honestly, those we went down to Bondurant in Phoenix, Arizona, where the first and second round of GRC was last year, and we raced the Formula Mazdas, and those cars are just unbelievable. They're not very big motors. They're not that quick, but the car's only like 1,500 pounds or whatever, and they feel fast. You're going 100-something miles an hour on the straightaways and stuff, and it's a lot more of an adrenaline rush because it's open wheel. You're side by side, and you're not really inside the car. Your head's sticking out. So that was definitely probably one of the most fun times I've had in the car. I definitely would like to try and get into some open wheel stuff, or at least do a couple races in Formula 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be a ton of fun. That's one thing I haven't had a chance to do outside of karting, you know what I mean, is actually drive a Formula Ford or a Formula Mazda or something like that. So I think it'd be fun to just try it out, but it looks like a ton of fun. But we're kind of running short on time here, buddy, but I appreciate you taking the time to call in. Congratulations on the win and in the points lead going into the next round. I know I've got some training to do up at DirtFish at some point this summer. Maybe be fun to be able to tie it in when you and James are up there doing some training or something like that, and do something up there at the same time as you guys. I think it'd be a ton of fun. So
yeah, I definitely would. I hope that you can come up and we can all drive together. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be a ton of fun. I'll have to get with him and see if we can dial it in where we're all there at the same time. But I think we could have a lot of fun. Maybe I'll bring one of the Razors up and we can slide it around and have a bit of fun in those. So yeah, we'll have to make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. And did you see he also got that Nomad?
Yeah, I just saw James post a picture of it. I don't know. It was maybe a week or two ago. I was so jealous. That thing's been on order for years.
It's been on order for 2 years, and they finally just got it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. It seems like every time I go up there, it's like what has Steve bought this go around? It's like Christmas when I show up there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, Connor. Congratulations again, and take care, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tim. Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, that was Connor Martell. That was your GRC curtain call segment. Connor, driver for DirtFish Rally School in the GRC Lights Division. We're going to take a short break. We come back. Frederick Aasbo on the line in our Formula Drift post-event interview here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? DirtFish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at DirtFish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports. Beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems, KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line. Big weekend winner. This is our Formula Drift post-event interview. Weekend winner Frederick Aasbo. How's everything going, my friend?
Hi, Jim. It is awesome. I am so stoked on this weekend. We got our first win of the season in Orlando and just made it to Atlanta ready for round 2. And, it still feels kind of unreal, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I know we talked with you right before Long Beach. I think it was like the Tuesday before Long Beach, and you knew this car was going to be good, but I know it's one of those things. It's still, I know the underpinnings are have been worked out, but still kind of a new car. I mean, you guys, there had to have been a little. I wonder, if it's going to take us a couple of rounds to really get a feel for things, But coming out of the box, I mean, you've been swinging for 2 rounds, man. This thing is on point.
Yeah, it's definitely, taking me by surprise a little bit because I never would have expected us to do this well this soon. And even though the car itself is actually quite similar to the old TC that we've been running for 6 years, it's still a new animal, like you said. It's a new car of its own. It's a little bit shorter. It has some different weight characteristics, a lot of new parts. So we definitely did not expect to be this strong out of the box. So I think the car surprised even us. So we're really happy right now.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned the car a little bit shorter. I mean, I don't know if it's just shorter in overall length or shorter in wheelbase, but has there been any adjustments you as a driver have had to make because this car is a bit shorter?
Yeah, it's a little bit shorter overall, but more importantly, it is about 3 to 4 inches shorter wheelbase, which makes for a car that's a little bit snappier. It wants to come around a little bit more, which is good and bad. It's good because it shows angle more. I can show more flair as a driver, more style, if you will, which definitely helps the scores. But at the same time, I have to be a little bit careful not to be caught by surprise and spin. So in Long Beach, we had issues with that where we made the car easier to drive, made it a little too loose, and then I almost spun in the battles. I had my work cut out for me, and even though we ended up in 5th place in Long Beach, it could definitely have gone the other way. So what we did before Orlando was to dial that back a little bit, get some grip back in the car, and Orlando is a track where it's all about speed and all about trying to make the tires last. And that sounds a little bit weird, I guess, in drifting, but we're looking for the same things as you are in traditional racing. We're looking for grip. We're looking for endurance from the tires. We're looking to make it last. But that's where I think we ended up doing a decent job in Orlando, was making our tires last and have grip all the way through.
Yeah. Well, here's a question, specifically speaking of Orlando. I know you, because the way you qualified so well, you ended up having a first-round bye. Now, is that a blessing or a curse? I mean, you know what I mean? Because it seems like, if you go through, you're kind of warmed up in that. Now you're going against Field who, just came through a round. And and he's warm, and you're sitting there going in cold against a guy who just won his first battle. Is that good or bad as a driver?
That is a very interesting question, and I think this shows the kind of racer you are, because what you're talking about was a big worry of mine. And Orlando's even a track where it may also be beneficial to qualify low, because you then get to chase first and then lead last, which could be another advantage. So, getting that bye is good because you're automatically into top 16, but you sit there for 5 hours, you wait, the other guys are out there feeling out the ever-changing conditions. They stay in the zone a little bit better, and then boom, you have to go out and put on your best runs. So definitely tricky. And I was really concerned about that battle with Field, not only because of going out there cold, but more importantly because he had the car to beat, I think, this weekend, because he had a lightning fast car. They were really going hard with their setups, but in the end, it ended up taking him out because they went so low in tire pressures, they actually debeated a tire. So that is a gamble we're playing in the sport right now. Everyone's chasing grip so hard that we're running the tires off the wheels out there. Yeah. So it's definitely a war zone out there, and really happy to move on against Field. He's one of the up and coming badass drivers of the sport. So from then on and out, it took some of the pressure off, because I knew that would be the really tough one. And even though we beat other champions throughout the weekend, I think getting that first win against Field was a blessing.
Yeah, I was going to say you really didn't have an easy bracket. I mean, you had Field, and then you went against Vaughn in the Final Four, and then and then Essa. I mean, it wasn't an easy weekend for you by any means. You earned this one, man.
No. Yeah, definitely, and I think that's why it tastes so good, because all these guys are amazing drivers. They have amazing equipment. I have a lot of respect for Vaughn. I think he's the biggest staple of the sport, with everything he does on and off track. And they have the new Mustangs this year, and they're going for it. So our motivation with this new car, which is a very unconventional drift build, is to try and beat them. And that's what makes it extra sweet, is having this little Corolla beat these Mustangs. It makes it so much better. And I think it shows the diversity of the sport. And we had a chat with JR after, and he was like, maybe I'm going to have to build a Focus now. So it's a lot of fun, and they had a great weekend as well. And moving on to Essa in the finals, it's good to see him back up there, and he's a past champion as well. So it's good to see new guys on the top of the podiums, and we'll see what happens next. I don't think Atlanta's going to be any easier.
No, and that's one of. It seems like Atlanta. It seems to be the one that always draws the rain, right? It seems like you'd always throw some weird conditions at you in Atlanta.
Yep.
But you guys, talking about that, you've got this new car, and Formula D is really nice in that you guys get a little bit of a break, about a month, sometimes 3 weeks in between rounds. But it's not every single weekend. But in between the rounds, you've got this new car. I mean, is there any development work and testing you guys are doing? Or, I know an event like this in the shops in Southern California, I mean, it takes you guys a good 3-4 days after the event to get it back to Southern California and start tearing it down and prepping and, and getting ready for the next event. I mean, how's that working for you guys? Are you going to be able to do much development work in between rounds this year?
So the way the circuit works is that we do a couple events on the West Coast and then a few on the East Coast. And we're now on the East Coast swings. We actually leave the cars on the East Coast. So the way we're set up, so Papadakis Racing runs 2 cars, my car and then Jonathan Castro's car. And we send off the cars, they stay on the East Coast, then they continue building spare parts, engines, do R&D on other other parts in California, while all the equipment is here. And the next battle for us now is figuring out how to get set up even better for the bumpy tracks. I think we have a great shock setup for the smoother, your squat and the smooth tracks. But when it comes to really hard bumps, we still have some way to go. So what Steph's talking about now is getting a shock dyno and continuing to learn and push that side of the cars. So we have a pretty good setup, I think, where we're not the crazy teams that tear down the cars every night and after every round. We try and make them super reliable so that they'll stay together and don't put crazy hours on our crew guys. And then instead we continue working on these smaller details when we can in between the rounds.
Yeah. You ever think, Formula Drift is going to get to a point where, you're just talking about bumpy tracks versus the smooth tracks and things like that. Do you think it's going to get to a point where, it's like NASCAR where they've got two cars, or IndyCar where they've got an oval car and a road race car? NASCAR is the same thing, short track car, long car. Do you think that maybe there's going to be a point where you've got two drift cars and one for certain course conditions and, another one for certain, course setups, and depending on, where you're at on the calendar, you take this one car to an event or you take this other car? Do you ever think it's going to get to a point where you've got multiple cars?
That's an interesting thought, and I don't see why not, because in Formula Drift, your points follow the drivers, not the cars. Yeah. So you could technically do that, and some guys do have two cars. Chris Forsberg right now has two different setups where he's playing around with his new engine setup, and you could argue that maybe a short wheelbase car would be good for certain tracks and vice versa. And I know that Daigo's doing this in Japan. He has an NA V8 setup for short tracks and a supercharged one for faster tracks. So that may very well happen. And I definitely see big differences in how these cars handle the different tracks. So there is definitely something there. And, with the advancements of the sport, I think we may very well end up with that. Maybe a Corolla for the short tracks and a Lexus for the big tracks. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure Lexus would love that too. So drifting
right?
Lexus, I'm sure that wouldn't be a tough pitch for them, man. That'd be some good stuff. We're 2 rounds down. You're the current points leader. We've got Atlanta up next, followed by the Wall at New Jersey. That's always pretty interesting. But how are you guys looking forward? I know you're in Atlanta right now, but that isn't necessarily because of the event here in a couple of weeks. But what are we looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I just got to Atlanta yesterday with Aldo, our tow guy, and we are here taking a little bit of a break today. We're going on a lake, dropped off our nitrous bottles yesterday to have them filled up. There's a nitrous shortage on the East Coast due to a factory blowing up in Florida. Horrible. But we'll be here for a couple of days. Then I'll be off to Norway for 3 days, drifting a mountain there for a secret TV project. Then back to Atlanta, doing FD, and then it's back to Europe again for more drifting. So I have a pretty hectic schedule coming up. And right now it's all about trying to keep this momentum going. I think Orlando is a track that suited our car very well. And Atlanta, I personally like very, very much because of the track itself. But I know some of the cars, some of our competitors are really strong there. JR's been doing really well in the past. We have the Euro guys, Viacek and Dean, who are on fire this year. So it's all about preparing for the next outing, and it's going to be madness.
Yeah. Well, and I know I saw, you mentioned going to Europe. I know you confirmed, I don't know, it was a couple of weeks back or maybe a week or so ago, a couple of days, I don't know. But you're going to be running all 3 Gateville events this summer, correct?
Yes, sir. And I'm really looking forward to that. Those are some of the most fun events I do because it's a party. It's a drift festival, several hundreds of cars. There's up to 45,000 people coming out per weekend, camping in the forest, drifting all day, partying all night, and then doing the same thing the next day. It's my way of letting loose, and it's a great way of mixing up all the hyper competitiveness of the Formula Drift schedule with getting back to the roots and drifting with friends. So really excited about that, and it'll be fun, I think, mixing it all up this summer. And we're building my girlfriend a basic drift car. Maybe I can push her around a little bit. So really looking forward to this summer season.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're on vacation, so we're going to let you get to that. But as always, much appreciated, my friend. I think at some point I feel like I gotta start sending you a monthly check because you've almost become like a co-host on the show. So
it's a pleasure, Jim, and thanks for having me. Best of luck with your off-road ventures, and we will stay in touch.
All right. Thanks a lot, Frederick. Man, what an interview. Always fun catching up with Frederick Aasbo. That was our Formula Drift post-event interview, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? DirtFish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at DirtFish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, wrapping things up on another edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Thanks to all of you for tuning in this week. If you haven't already, go and definitely rate, review, subscribe to Project Action over there on Podcast One. And got Antron Brown coming up this next week. And, thanks to all the support here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Don't forget, you can listen online. Obviously, we're on 30 places online. But you can also tune in Wednesdays and Saturdays on Sports Byline USA. We are syndicated to 200 AM/FM networks across the country. And also, for those of you that are overseas, thanks for tuning in on the U.S. or the American Forces Network. 500 networks in 177 countries. I believe we're airing Saturdays and Sundays there. But thanks to all you for tuning in there as well. Big supporter of our troops. And, it's kind of humbling to know that, we're being aired on military bases across the world. So thanks to all of you guys for the support, and thanks to you for fighting for our country. But upcoming events, man, the big one, Supercross, right? That is the biggest one of them all. Supercross finale coming up. And don't forget, we got Ryan Dungey and Ryder DeFrancesco committed for the show next week. You're going to love that. It's going to be a good one. Big shout out to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson, DirtFish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus, TerraCross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. I'm Jim Beaver. It's at JimBeaver15 on all forms of social media, including Twitch. And it's at AmyHood71 for all her social media. And thanks to DirtFish for our DirtFish Rally Report. And if you need 15% off, go to JB DirtFish, and I'll get you dialed in for a big discount off a class at DirtFish Rally School. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I'm going to sign off here. As I always do, be safe. As always, game on.